Hello, and welcome to the Last Movie Outpost Frequencies. On the Last Movie Outpost, where you grab all of your movie news, reviews, and everything cool about film after being away for, I want to say, about 18 months. It's been quite a while.
Yep.
We are back with a live stream. Hello, Yoda, my friend. How are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. I'm freshly divorced, and it's pretty much what ended this for a while. There was some other things, but I had to sell the house. You can clearly see this is not the same place I was before, and just I had to marry off one of the kids. You know what they say? You don't lose a daughter, you gain a son. It turns out they didn't tell you that he also moves in with you. I was like, wait, what? that wasn't in the contract.
At least you're marrying the kids off and not, selling them off.
Well, yeah, that would be a bad look considering my daughter is black and adopted.
Still rules against that over there.
Wow, we're canceled already? Jesus. No, they moved out about a month ago, and so I took the bedroom finally, and now I have a place to do this again. And I'm no longer have the crippling depression, so it's great. I'm ready to talk about movies. Oh wait, back to the crippling depression.
We've got our first comment from Madding. Holy guys, hi guys. I'll just shave it and get right back to the NC-17 comments.
We expect no less.
It is good to see you, Madding. Thank you very much for joining us. We will try and keep an eye on that. We are going to keep things a little bit shorter and sweeter this time round, so we're going to be talking about...
it's only 4 hours this time?
That's right, yeah. We're going to really sort of calm it down a little bit here. So let's get into our first subject. Mel Brooks. Let's turn that one up. Mel Brooks.
The big story with him is that he is not dead. I had no idea. I thought he had passed away a while ago, but apparently
he is doing very, very well.
And not only that, he's making a new Spaceballs movie.
Well, let's call up the details on that one a second.
I thought you had this up and running. Jesus Christ!
I'm looking through the website to show everybody what they're missing. Oh, that's the retro review of Spaceballs. Go back. It's that one.
You tell me to go back for. You're the one got the controls. Listen to him yelling at me here like I'm the one scrolling through the shit. I'm holding coffee. Both my hands are up.
Right, let's do a search because it was quite a while ago. The problem is we do so many amazing articles at the Last Movie Outpost. It's difficult to keep up sometimes.
This is true.
So there we go. Yes,
I don't. I only do a few articles anymore, but the rest of the team does an amazing job. I just pay for things to make everybody look good. I'm the Tony Stark now. Even though we have a guy named Stark, I'm actually the real Stark.
Yeah, you're the real Tony. If you guys don't stop referring to me as Black Widow, I'm going to get them. So,
well, stop wearing the outfit, man. You look hot.
Hey, listen, what I do on my OnlyFans has got nothing to do with you. So yeah, Spaceballs 2. We did actually announce the news back last year that they said they were going to do it, but there is now a trailer online which we're not going to play because of copyright and so forth. What was your initial reaction to this?
My initial reaction is he's still fucking alive. I honest to God thought he passed away years ago. I didn't know.
It's one of those things that when people like that pass away, you go, are they? Oh, well, I thought that was. I
thought he'd gotten a long time ago. And it's like, well, in fact, I think his birthday was today or yesterday, so I think he turned 99. So this isn't going to come out till 27, right?
So there's a good chance he's not going to see it. But also, I mean, he's executive producing it, and apparently he's been writing the script with Josh Gad, who is somebody.
That's concerning.
But he's not directing it, but he has written it. I mean, the trailer, I don't know, did look kind of funny because they were taking the mick out of prequels and sequels and everything else that's sort of going on, in Hollywood at the moment with Star Wars and Marvel and everything else. But I just don't think Spaceballs is going to work now because of the climate that we live in.
It depends on how they do it. I think. I actually think there's a lot of parody there. The trailer I really liked because the trailer basically said since we released Spaceballs, there's been 47 Star Wars movies, a bunch of Avatars, a bunch of MCU movies, reboots and Trons. I mean, he went through the list of how ridiculous it's all become. I'm like, okay, that tells me that he understands the things that we're already bitching about, right?
Yeah.
And so if he is going to parody the franchise idea, I think there's a lot of opportunity for that. Now, like I say, he's almost 100 years old. I mean, the truth is, I like Spaceballs, partially from nostalgia, partially from.
Just to interject there, that when we did the review, myself and Porcino did the review of that, I actually found that quite a few people are not a fan of Spaceballs.
Well,
I love it. I think it's great.
Some of it is really silly, and some of the delivery of the dialogue, whether on purpose or not, is just it's so very comedy variety show. You know what I mean? It's like it's just too much. You know. Now, do a lot of the jokes land really, really well? Yes, but like when they try to be faux dramatic, oh my God, where are we? You know, that kind of stuff. And I know they're doing it for comedic effect, but it just comes across silly to me.
I think I'm going to say this, but I think all of Mel Brooks's movies are very kind of in that amateur way. You know, that with them they've got that kind of quite cheesy quality.
Not Blazing Saddles.
Yes.
Not Blazing Saddles manages to tread that line properly. And
also weirdly, the remake of Producers is not like that either, where the original was.
Yeah, but the like Blazing Saddles does a great job. Young Frankenstein does a great job. I just think as he got to his later years, he got more into that, like he was trying to do Naked Gun almost style spoofing, but in his own way, and the mishmash came across as sometimes just a little too obvious. Now that being said, I mean. Are some of the gags are fantastic. The going plaid, ludicrous speed, Dark Helmet, playing with his dollies.
The stunt that bit with Dark Helmet and the dolls is brilliant.
It's great. I think I never fail to laugh at the line. For some reason, it always surprises me, so it always gets me. But he's like, ludicrous speed? We've never gone that fast before. He's like, what's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken? And it nails me every time. It's such a great moment.
My favourite bit is just after that, where he's kind of, okay, did we come out of ludicrous speed?
That's a good one, too.
He's completely lost the plot, obviously with the head trauma.
Smoke him if you got him.
Yeah. No, I like
Spaceballs. It's less than the sum of its parts, if that makes any sense. There are moments and gags that are absolutely fantastic. The Michigan J alien, hello my baby, hello my honey, that is brilliant. The couple of monkeys going, oh shit, Spaceballs, there goes the planet. In perfect King's English, and things like that. I mean, like all these little moments. But as a movie, as a strung together story, it's mid. It's not terrible. It's just it's not as good as it could be sometimes. I think when the story has to string it together, I think that's when it falters.
Just to interject there, Alex has just said, if one of you guys recording next to a highway, you sound fine to me. Do I sound fine to you?
Yeah. Which one does he not? What does he not like?
I've got a little mini fan on because if I don't have it, I will melt like the Wicked Witch of the West.
It could be my PC. It's running a lot of fan stuff here because I got the PC right here and it's got several fans and shit in it.
Mine's quite away from the eye. Probably nostalgia, but Spaceballs is great. The German dubbed version is even greater. I don't speak German, but I imagine that's probably quite funny. But yeah, so In summing up, though, do you think Spaceballs 2 is going to work?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, if Mel Brooks is making Spaceball too. I mean, I hope that he actually calls it The Search for More Money. I think
You've gone very quiet.
Too quiet. Okay, how about that?
There we go.
All right. I was hoping maybe I could adjust it and remove the fan noise a little bit.
To be fair, just to let everybody know, we haven't been on this platform for like ages, and all of a sudden it's changed very, very much. So we are doing the best that we can.
I just turned on the remove background noise. How do I sound?
Much better.
Okay.
Yes, much, much better.
Okay. So I got to figure out what all the check boxes and buttons are in this shit, guys. I don't know.
What does launch nuclear weapons mean?
Do it. Do it. Put an end to my pain.
It's all great now. There you go. So it's just
okay. Good.
Yeah,
all right. So
he sounds much better this time. So yeah, sorry, carry on. So with Spaceballs 2.
Will it be any good? I mean, usually you can't catch lightning in a bottle, and quite frankly, Spaceballs was more of a, an LED flash than lightning. A really nice one. You have Mel Brooks on it. I think that they will try. Here's my worry about it. When you get a guy like Josh Gad, or you get some of these younger ones on it, it's going to have the same effect as these people working for Lucas on the prequels. It's like, it's Mel Brooks. He made Spaceballs, one of my favorite movies. We got to honor what's come before. And then it will be
bad if you don't know who Josh Gad is. We didn't either.
Well, I knew who he was. He was the guy that did. He was the guy that did the Frozen. He was in some Adam Sandler movies.
He did the voice of Olaf in Frozen.
Yeah, and I know he did during the COVID, he did a lot of reunites on Zoom with like Lord of the Rings and things like that.
He said, just to quote Gad, he said, everybody who's read it has been blown away. The process of working on this alongside Mel Brooks has been one of the highlights of my career. Yeah, I can imagine it's one of the highlights of your career.
Fair enough. The thing is that it's like they're going to treat it like we got to honor what's come before. I'm like, that's not what Spaceballs is about, dishonoring what came before, for Christ's sake. Yeah. Nobody gives a shit. It's just it was taking a piss out of Star Wars and every other sci-fi project out there, and that's fine. But
weirdly, it was taking the Mickey, but at the same time, it was a loving homage. He wasn't.
Well, it wasn't being disrespectful.
Yeah,
but it wasn't like sucking its dick either. And that's my worry, because like all those guys working, you've seen the background footage, everything. All those guys working on the prequels were sucking George's dick, just coming out and go, oh my god, it's George Lucas. Everything he does, it's an amazing idea. Let's make Boba Fett a little fucking kid. Yeah, let's do that. That's awesome. It's amazing. And all the shit that he came up with, and nobody. It wasn't like when he went through it the first time, everybody said that's a dumb idea. Let's tune this up, and everybody was working together on it. So I have a feeling that could happen with this too. I think that's one of the biggest problems. And let's just talk legacy sequels in general. I think that's what one of the biggest problems of these things are. You get it becomes so ingrained in the pop culture, and everybody just has such almost reverence for it, which is dumb because it's a movie, that when they try to redo it, they don't see it for what it is, and then it just becomes it usually turns out to be a mess in one form or another.
I'm mildly optimistic about it, but like with anything these days, as we were saying before we went live, it's difficult to be excited about these things these days.
Yeah, that is a problem. The Hollywood of the last 10 years, really since Force Awakens, but I think Ghostbusters 2016 really drove a stake into my enthusiasm, so to speak. And then I just started every year just getting more and more skeptical of shit that's coming out of Hollywood. And now, sadly, I'm getting, I don't know how to explain this. I listen to Critical Drinker. I'll listen to some of the things that they do afterwards, right?
Yeah.
And they'll talk about oh, the wokeness or Midnight Sad. She'll talk about here's the woke and here's the girl boss, here's the MCU, and here's the message. And then their response is to own what, the libs, so to speak, own the woke. I'm like going, okay, after 8-9 years of this, I'm going, is anything are we going to start making anything that I get excited about? Because now I don't even care about the responses anymore. I don't care about the movies coming out.
The only things I get more excited about now is the fact that we get screeners for indie movies.
Yeah.
Because I'm finding them far more interesting than I am anything else at the moment.
Well, I'm stuck, I've been doing the Trek-ons, and we'll start talking about those in more depth starting next week. But the reason why I'm getting so embroiled in the Star Trek is because there are real stories here that I feel like those are real characters, like people that I could, that feel alive to me. And everything comes out now. None of it all feels corporate. It all feels packaged. Even if it doesn't have the message in it, it feels bland and corporate and just as uninvolving as possible. And then when it does have the message, then the only thing we have to talk about that gets any passion whatsoever is being against the message. I'm like, okay.
It's weird as well, because sometimes watching older movies, like even from the 80s and stuff, you've got girl bosses in there, but you didn't care. But now you notice it because it's kind of been so blown out of proportion. You're watching the movies from the 80s when you were a kid. Cynthia Rothrock, great. She was a girl and she kicked ass. Happy days. Whereas now you watch it and go, girl bossing, and everything. And it's turned you against even sort of some older things because you notice it more. I noticed how much diversity there was in movies of old. But
it was the whole point was to get everybody of every race in there and you not notice it, and they achieve that. So now they have to go back to making sure that you do notice it. Yeah. I'm like, well, what? I don't want to notice it. I was just watching a reaction to an episode of Star Trek Next Generation, and I won't go into all the details, but basically there's a moment where like most of the crew is on a planet, so only Beverly is captaining the ship with a bunch of guest stars. And it was something I'd never noticed before. I hadn't watched the episode in a while, but thanks to all this freaking woke nonsense, now I see it. I was like, oh my God, this was starting to happen back 30 years ago. And what happened is they had a female woman of color coming up. She had a blue shirt on, so she wasn't really a weapons officer. And then they got some of the background, the non-credited crewmen up. The regular people were still on the planet. And this white guy comes in, and he has that resting, smug white face. You know what I mean? Like they cast him clearly, specifically because his facial features just makes him look like an asshole. And he does nothing wrong in this. Nothing. Not one thing wrong in this. He doesn't call out he doesn't look at the black character like she's a problem or that she's in the way. He just takes his station because it's his normal station when Worf isn't there. And then she goes back and she's doing calculations, and then she starts questioning him, and he says, well, I'll just have to make sure my calculations are correct. And they make it look like that's like, what a smug asshole that he would say something like that to her. And then a little later on, she gets the same moment where she gets to say it back to him, and it's girl power moment. And Beverly makes sure that she says how good a job she did so that she can smile and feel like she's accomplished something. And this poor white guy's done nothing wrong except have a douche face, right? Yeah. That's it. That's his only crime in this entire episode. And what my point is that here it is 32 years later, 32 years later, I'm going, you are making me reevaluate shit that I just didn't care about back in the day. Yeah. Because of all this nonsense you've done the last decade. And I'm like, you're making me retroactively hate shit. Thank you.
Right. We are going to move on.